Good morning, friends. Today in this new lecture, we will discuss in detail about drugs acting on autonomic nervous system and their cholinergic drugs, that too acetylcholinesterase enzyme inhibitors. So we also call them as indirectly acting cholinomimetic drugs. Now let's see what exactly are these drugs. Acetylcholinesterase enzyme. Acetylcholinesterase enzyme is a hydrolase. It belongs to a family of enzymes. We call them as serine esterase enzymes. Serine esterase. Serine esterase is a family of enzymes that are ubiquitously present throughout our body. So here for acetylcholinesterase, the receptor pocket is it contains two regions, because in case of acetylcholine, the acetylcholine molecule is recognized by the receptor in two regions. One is the onium ion and the second one is the carboxyl end. This carboxyl end is always oriented in such a manner that the carbonyl carbon, the oxygen, makes two hydrogen bonds with these two glycines, and serine has access to the ventral side of carbonyl carbon. So from the back side, okay, this is the serine unit. This serine unit has proximity with histidine and glutamic acid. So this is the way how the receptor pocket is arranged. The mechanism of acetylcholinesterase enzyme, the catalytic triad model. As I told you, acetylcholinesterase enzyme belongs to the serine esterase enzymes. Serine esterase enzymes contain the in the active pocket three amino acids will be there. So one is glutamic acid, the second one is histidine, and then serine. Instead of glutamic acid, sometimes aspartic acid will also be there, but here in acetylcholinesterase enzyme we have glutamic acid. How they work, let's see. When acetylcholine was there, a series of transitions happens where in the beginning the glutamic acid, which is there as a minus ion, because glutamic acid unit COOH exists in body conditions as COO minus. So this abstracts proton from histidine. So that initiates a cascade of events, and the nitrogen abstracts a proton from serine. This further, the serine, when proton is eliminated, O minus will be generated, that will attack the carbonyl carbon from backside. Now this leads to a chemical reaction which we usually see in case of carboxylic acid groups or esters. That's what we call it as trans esterification. So here what happened? This glutamic acid got proton of histidine, and then this proton abstracted proton of serine. This serine attacked carbonyl carbon of the acetylcholine, and now again this is what we call it as addition elimination type of reaction, what we see in case of ester formation. So the electron pair from the CO minus reverts back, thereby it will initiate elimination of choline unit from the molecule. Then it takes the help of one water molecule. Please closely observe here, one water molecule. Now it is providing a proton. to choline. So, this is the result where serine is acylated. Serine is acylated. So, this is what I said, like trans esterification type means acetylation and regeneration of enzymes is the two stages of mechanism of acetylcholinesterase enzyme activity. Now, choline is separated, serine of the receptor pocket got acylated. Now, what is it that is needed is we have to remove this acetyl group from serine. Again, we take the help of solvent water molecule that is present within the receptor pocket, and that initiates cascade of events which are exactly reversal of the first step, so that ultimately we get the receptor back and the acetyl group is separated. Acetyl group is separated, means hydrolyzed. Acetyl group is hydrolyzed. So, this is the way how the acetylcholinesterase enzyme does its job. Now, here in case of acetylcholinesterase enzyme inhibitors, we have two types of inhibitors. One is mechanism based inhibitors. Mechanism based inhibitors where we will have a functional group instead of acetyl group, another functional group will be there, which will do the esterification over here to give a functional group which resists hydrolysis. Earlier, in case of cholinergic agonists, cholinomimetics, direct cholinomimetics, we have seen that acetylcholine, instead of acetylcholine, here CH3 C double bond OO, instead of this, when we alter nucleophilicity of CH3 by replacing CH3 with some other functional group, it alters nucleophilicity. So, that actually helped in increase in biological activity. One reason is, like we observed in methanocol, where replacement of CH3 with NH2, we got carbamate esters. So, that actually increased duration of activity. So, one of the reason is potency, second one is inhibition of acetylcholinesterase enzyme. So, here what they found is by altering functional group over here, we can increase stability of this situation, so that the enzyme will take a lot of time for regeneration. So, till that time the enzyme gets inhibited. Until serine gets freed from the acetyl group, the enzyme gets inhibited. The second type of mechanism is like allosteric mechanism, where the molecule fits into the receptor pocket and will not allow the ligand to interact with the receptor pocket. So, these are the two mechanisms we have. Let us see one by one. So, this is the first example of how actually the acetylcholinesterase enzyme inhibitors were designed. Physostigmine is a one of the oldest natural products that were isolated, which have shown excellent cholinomimetic activity, means cholinergic activity. But later on, after the elucidation of its structure, scientists found that it is actually inhibiting acetylcholinesterase enzyme, so that it is showing cholinomimetic activity in an indirect manner. So, if we stop acetylcholinesterase to function, then that will lead to enhanced cholinergic activity, because acetylcholine can spend time more in the cholinergic synapse. So, here this is what I am saying. Here you can see clearly the carbamate CH3 NH C double bond O. This is the carbamic acid ester. Scientists found that this is actually hydrolyzed. This molecule is actually hydrolyzed by acetylcholinesterase, and in that hydrolytic process, the carbamate is actually getting transferred onto serine. Now the carbamic acid esters are relatively stronger, relatively stable to hydrolytic reactions, because the carbonyl carbon is not very much polarized. So the water molecule cannot attack this carbonyl carbon with that much intensity. This protects or increases stability of this carbamic acid ester. So this is the way how, because in case of acetylcholine esterase enzyme, it can hydrolyze acetylcholine in milliseconds or even less than that. But when you make the carbamic acid ester of the acetylcholine esterase, it takes minutes. In case of physostigmine, it takes approximately 10 to 15 minutes for regeneration of the enzyme. So if you see the same kind of logic, if you increase the nucleophilicity of the functional group over here, instead of methyl, if you keep NH2 or primary amine or secondary amine, the nucleophilicity of the group is increasing. As the nucleophilicity of the group increases, carbonyl carbon will become inactive, or the positive charge over here on the carbon gets neutralized, thereby ester bond will become more stable. So this is the simple logic. So physostigmine is actually isolated from the seeds of Physostigma venonosum, a plant. It's a poisonous plant. It has very high affinity for acetylcholine esterase enzyme receptor, and it will carbamylate the receptor so that it takes a lot of time for regeneration. It's a tertiary amine and highly lipophilic and has excellent absorption. It's not a quaternary ammonium salt, unlike other molecules you will see in this category. It's a tertiary amine and highly lipophilic, and it has excellent absorption. And this has so many side effects. That's why scientists have done a lot of SAR studies on this. So it's a prototype right now, from where the remaining class of drugs from this remaining acetylcholine esterase enzyme inhibitors were designed. So here what they observed is, what we need is an aromatic ring and a carbamate ester with nitrogen bearing alkyl groups. So this is the simple model which they developed, they got from physostigmine. So here the aromatic ring shall carry functional groups in such a manner that it fits into the receptor pocket. It increases selectivity of the molecule towards acetylcholine esterase, because as I told you, acetylcholine esterase enzyme belongs to serine hydrolase enzymes. So the serine hydrolase enzymes are ubiquitous, means throughout the body in various forms you will find them. So that's why selectivity is highly essential. Neostigmine bromide. This has a hybrid pharmacophore. Here if you see, as I told you, the molecule need to have the aromatic ring, but aromatic ring shall carry functional groups in such a manner that it increases selectivity. So here if you closely observe, this is the structure of neostigmine, and this is acetylcholine. The length of molecule is almost the same, and here the quaternary ammonium unit and the aromatic, this entire part is actually increasing its selectivity to acetylcholine esterase enzyme, because it has a hybrid pharmacophore both acetylcholine and physostigmine, and it is highly polar because it's a ammonium salt. It's a highly polar and cannot cross blood-brain barrier, so it will not show any kind of CNS activity. It is indicated for prophylaxis of post-operative abdominal distension as well as urinary retention. So these are the two things which we can repair, which we can correct by using neostigmine bromide. It also is indicated for management of myasthenia gravis and a reversal of neuromuscular blockade. So these are the this is the profile of this drug. The next one is related drug, that is pyridostigmine. So instead of benzene ring, here we have methylpyridine, N-methylpyridine. Here also we have quaternary ammonium salt, so it is highly polar, orally active, structurally similar to neostigmine. It has longer duration of action than neostigmine. It is indicated for the prophylaxis of nerve gas poisoning and urinary retention. Pyridostigmine reverses this type of condition. Parenterally administered to reverse non-depolarizing neuromuscular blockade. So it is almost like antidote for tuberculin kind of poisoning. Next one is hydrophonium chloride. Hydrophonium chloride is a non-classical acetylcholinesterase enzyme inhibitor, non-carbamate. As I told you, this is acting as an inhibitor via allosteric inhibition, because it fits into the receptor pocket and blocks access of acetylcholine to esterase enzyme. So this is the way. It's a quaternary ammonium substituted phenol. It has dual activity, acetylcholine esterase enzyme inhibition, as well as it's a cholinomimetic at neuromuscular junction. It is used for diagnosis of myasthenia gravis. It has the capability to reverse the non-depolarizing neuromuscular blockers. Reversible acetylcholinesterase enzyme inhibitors in Alzheimer's disease. This is one of the application of acetylcholinesterase enzyme inhibitors. Alzheimer's disease is a progressive neurodegenerative disease. It severely affects the cognitive capabilities, but it is a chronic effect where it worsens over a period of time. It impairs short-term memory. This is one of the first indications or otherwise symptoms that Alzheimer's disease patients experience, and it will worsen gradually. It shows loss of long-term memory. It leads to confusion, disturbances in language and sleep-wake cycle, mood swings, loss of body functions, and ultimately it leads to death. Okay, it leads to death because patient forgets to even first breathe, patient forgets to swallow, patient forgets to recognize hunger. Okay, so and then the patient will die. It's a very tough problem, but scientists found multiple reasons behind it. One of the reason is deficit in cholinergic neurotransmitter. What they found is can potentially influence all aspects of cognition and behavior. So including cortical, hippocampal processing information, encoding information, and memory. All these are getting affected via a deficit in cholinergic neurotransmission is what they found. So if we provide cholinergic activity in those regions, it helps in regaining or otherwise in the management of Alzheimer's disease. It will not cure, but it will offer symptomatic relief to the patient. So here we have certain drugs. One is the Tacrin. Tacrin is one of the oldest drug approved for treating Alzheimer's disease. It acts as an acetylcholinesterase enzyme inhibitor, but it's a non-classical, non-carbamate class of acetylcholinesterase enzyme inhibitor. It inhibits both acetylcholinesterase and butyrylcholinesterase. Its metabolites are also biologically active. Here you can see it. This is Tacrin. 1-hydroxytacrin is the metabolite of tacrin, which is almost equipotent with the tacrin as far as biological activity is concerned. It has one problem, that is hepatotoxicity is the only limiting factor for this. Next one is donepezil. It's again non-classical and non-reversible. Non-reversible. Why? Because it sticks to the receptor so strongly that it takes hours for release of enzyme or reactivation of enzyme. So it is not truly non-reversible, but its duration of activity is very high. It is highly selective to acetylcholinesterase versus butyrylcholinesterase, and because of its pharmacokinetic properties, it is more selective towards centrally acetylcholinesterase present in the brain. Its metabolites also show biological activity. So here actually, because this is a tertiary amine, so debenzylation or N-oxide formation, these are very common metabolic reactions. Both are biologically active. Means debenzylated means here NR will become NH, and the next one is N will be oxidized. So both the metabolites are biologically active, and it has almost no hepatotoxicity. So it's a very good agent. This is rivastigmine. Rivastigmine it belongs to the classical mechanism based acetylcholinesterase enzyme inhibitors category. This is a carbamide. You can see clearly here. This is a carbamide. O C double bond O N. It is a centrally acting selective carbamide class of acetylcholinesterase enzyme inhibitor. It has a relatively long duration, again 10 hours. 10 hours is almost equal to irreversible enzyme inhibition. If you have because in the next slides we will see that irreversible enzyme inhibition with the phosphate esters actually makes the receptor we need at least 8 hours for regeneration. So here this drug is needing 10 hours for regeneration. Very less hepatotoxicity. So these are the drugs which are used for Alzheimer's disease. Now let's see a little bit about irreversible acetylcholinesterase enzyme inhibition. Irreversible means almost it causes complete inactivation of acetylcholinesterase enzyme. How it happens? Let's see. So this is the difference. So instead of acetyl, let's say if it is esterified onto a phosphoric acid ester, this is relatively stronger as far as its stability is concerned. So thereby enzyme needs a lot more time for its activation, because this ester bond is becoming more and more stronger and stronger, and thereby it takes a lot of time for regeneration of enzyme. Hence it will become completely almost like irreversibly inhibited. So here what scientists use is a word, we call it as aging of enzyme. Aging means it takes a lot of time for release of serine, this serine hydroxy group from this ester bond. So here a lot of applications. Here this is one of examples. Serine is one of acetylcholinesterase enzyme inhibitor which was used in the World War, chemical warfare agent which actually kills acetylcholinesterase enzyme, thereby leading to fatality. So here we have a couple of agents. We have ecothiopate iodide. This is a highly polar water soluble solution. Topical solutions are used for treating glaucoma and strabismus, and then it's only short term treatments only. We cannot use it for long term, and highly toxic, so it is not at all used for systemic application. Malathion and parathion, these are actually insecticidal agents, mitoside for treating lice infections. It's a very powerful agent. Within 3 minutes it can kill lice. Relatively less toxic to humans, and transmembrane permeability is very less for these agents. Antidotes for poisoning by irreversible acetylcholinesterase enzyme inhibitors, because these molecules, irreversible acetylcholinesterase inhibitors are very poisonous. So it is one of the main reason for no, suicides also. Pesticide poisoning is a threat to farmers. They have to use it because they are very popular as far as pesticidal activity is concerned, very powerful. At the same time, it causes toxicity to the farmers. That's why it's very common to see this type of toxicity. So rate of hydrolysis of phosphate esters is far less than carboxylate esters is what is the common observation. So here the problem is water has nucleophilicity, usually it will replace the acetate, but it doesn't have enough nucleophilicity to replace phosphate ester. So if this is water, how can we increase nucleophilicity of water? By substituting one of the hydrogen with R. So R need to have electron donating capability. Electron donating capability means R can be an alkyl group or some other group. But even if you keep an alkyl group like ethanol, ethanol is not very much strongly nucleophilic. So if you want to really increase the nucleophilicity, add nitrogen. So what is this one? This is hydroxylamine. So in case of hydroxylamine, this is the logic, and scientists, when they did in vitro experiments, they found that hydroxylamine is actually really good in regenerating acetylcholinesterase enzyme inhibitor, which has been inhibited by these phosphate esters. Okay, so here organophosphates poisoning is what we use the term. But hydroxylamine, when used in human subjects, it is able to achieve its biological activity, but at a concentration which is highly toxic to human body. So that's why they started looking at alternatives for this one, and there they found pralidoxime. So when hydroxylamines are treated with aldehydes, they form this bond, we call it as oxime compounds. And here they used the same logic as neostigmine, where oxime is needed for release of serine or regeneration of serine, so regeneration of acetylcholinesterase enzyme. What about the aromatic ring? This aromatic ring should have a functional group in such a manner that it will have access to acetylcholinesterase enzyme and it will bind to the receptor pocket properly, strongly. And they found pralidoxime, otherwise pralidoxime, where this aromatic unit was found to have a very strong affinity to acetylcholinesterase enzyme, and the oxime part has now proximity to serine unit, thereby it will initiate release of phosphate unit like this. Acetylcholinesterase enzyme serine is now phosphorylated, so that will really react with the pralidoxime. PAM means pralidoxime, the hydroxy group. Now it attacks, because it offers, like it's a strong nucleophile, stronger nucleophile, so thereby the phosphate unit will be transferred from serine to pralidoxime, thereby acetylcholinesterase enzyme is now regenerated. So this is like a nucleophilic substitution type of reaction, and pralidoxime is a very powerful agent and highly effective. So this is drug of choice for organophosphate poisoning. It has high affinity for acetylcholinesterase enzyme and strongly nucleophilic oxygen is there, and works best if given within a few hours, because here this phosphate shall have both ORs, because if it starts aging, like OR will become OH, then the reactivity slows down. So it will work within few hours. If you give this drug, then there is every possibility that the patient will survive. But if it goes beyond 8 hours, after 8th hour, its efficiency will slow down. Okay. So friends, this is the way how acetylcholinesterase enzyme inhibitors are very much useful in our pharmacology or medicinal chemistry. Let's summarize. Acetylcholinesterase enzyme is a serine esterase enzyme. So acetylcholinesterase enzyme has in the active pocket, we call it as a catalytic triad. So the three amino acids, serine, glutamic acid and histidine, work in coordination to activate hydrolysis of acetylcholine. Hydrolysis of acetylcholine happens in two steps. One is transacylation of acetyl group onto serine, and then regeneration of enzyme via hydrolysis of that ester bond. Next one is carboxylic acid esters are mechanism based enzyme inhibitors which forms carbamic acid esters with serine. Physostigmine, pyridostigmine and neostigmines are mechanism based carbamic acid ester possessing acetylcholinesterase enzyme inhibitors. They are mainly used for glaucoma, myasthenia gravis, reversal of overdose of neuromuscular blockade. Acetylcholinesterase enzyme inhibitors are also used for the management of Alzheimer's disease. Donepezil, rivastigmine and tacrine are some of the drugs used for this. Organophosphate poisoning is mainly because of irreversible acetylcholinesterase enzyme inhibitors. They are mainly used as insecticides and pesticides, and other biological activities like other pharmacological activities are very limited. Their applications here are very limited, but they are very popular as pesticides. Pyrrolidoxime is the drug of choice for organophosphate poisoning if it happens. So friends, this is the way how acetylcholinesterase enzyme inhibitors help us in the management of various disease conditions. We will continue this discussion in the next class with anticholinergic agents. I hope all of you are following these lectures carefully, and I thank you all for your patient listening. See you again. Thank you.